Welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast in which we disassemble a film from the Marvel Cinematic Universe into 1-minute segments and then examine it in obsessive and occasionally hilarious detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Swashbuckling Ladies Debate Society podcast.
Hey, and I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, sir.
It is time that we deal with one of the long-standing cinematic questions of our time.
Was that gasp not significant enough? You need a bigger gasp?
It was a beautiful gasp. I ask you, how long does it take to trace a phone call?
Oh,
yes. Guess what, everybody? Spoiler, instant.
Yeah.
It doesn't take any time. The problem is, look.
So you don't even have to answer.
No, it's exactly the delay when someone calls you and there's like that, even if you're on like a regular analog phone, like that little delay in the caller ID.
Yeah.
No, that's just because the system has sends the information. Tracing a call is instant. The delay comes from because there are laws, especially for like domestic stuff here in the United States. You got to get permission to press the button. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is this. It's instant, and it is practically impossible. Yes, I know some of you are saying, whoa, wait a minute. What do you mean? Burner phones? Yes, those will certainly hide the identity of the person. Yes, there's voice over IP, which we mentioned in the last minute, which I assume this is what Ivan is doing here. Yes, that you could go through a whole bunch of VPN connections and do all this. But at the end of the day, in the modern world, it is practically impossible to make an anonymous phone call that cannot be traced instantly. It's just the way it is. Don't do it. Send a letter. Mail a letter. I mean,
letters also are postmarked. So,
but not if you have a friend. Well, no. See what you do is, and here's what you also have to do. Oh, okay. Here's a segue.
Yeah, this new segment we like to call "Rob helps you commit mail fraud."
Now,
Rob,
not that I'm telling you what you should do is. One of the things you got to be careful is that whenever you don't print it on your own personal, because inks and stuff, and we'll talk about inks at a later minute, spoiler, but just try to go to a place that you can make a copy of the letter and then make another copy of a blank sheet so that you erase it off of the drum. And then you take that letter, you put that in in an envelope, and you mail the envelope to someone who will do this for you and have them mail it from some other place where they are so that the postmark is not near where you are. Wait,
Rob, I'm going to assume that you acquired these skills because you are a hopeless romantic and shy. And you wanted to talk to this girl, but you couldn't do it. And she also was extremely paranoid, possibly worked for the government. And so you wanted to make sure that she couldn't find you until your confidence was at an all-time high that you actually confront her. And
I'm going to say, I'm going to take the Fifth Amendment. That any further, no. Anyway,
and this is how Rob romanced Janet Reno.
Yeah, this is what a bull!
And here we are at minute, and it's significant to the year too of 92 of Iron Man 2 from 2010, director Mr. Jon Favreau.
Oh my God, that's amazing!
I was trying to think who would be the most paranoid woman of that time.
It's true.
And so we are in the midst of a conversation. So if you are just joining us, first of all, welcome. Also, why?
Yeah.
But also, hey.
Nice.
So Ivan has called to Tony, his good pal Tony, and they're just having a little gab sash, a little chat. They're just catching up. And so, but Tony is like, I really miss Ivan. I haven't seen him in a while. I wonder where he is. So he reaches out. So this is what I love about Tony Stark. He builds the Iron Man suit, and he's multiple ones. He has an artificial intelligence, multiple artificial, actually 3 in the room with him. At this point, is a multimillionaire tech industrialist, and yet he still has to press mute on the screen.
I know, but okay.
You don't have I guess if you said Jarvis mute him, then he would hear it because you're having a phone conversation. Yeah, I get that.
But you know what, though?
I just seems like the hard push with the thumb. Boom, mute.
You know what? And I have to say, that moment, so you can see him obviously doing the lower part of the screen, which existed in the previous minute. You can actually see the little buttons there in the screen, so this is consistent. Yep. But I love this because here's the deal. If he doesn't do that, well, this would be an easy, why is this happening? And that if he's having a conversation with Jarvis on speakerphone, why wouldn't Ivan know that? You do they actually, they chose to say, you know what? We got to make sure that everyone in the audience doesn't think we're stupid. And make sure he mutes the call. Fine. Sure.
The question is, was that an insert? Was that actually Robert Downey Jr.'s thumb, or was it a stunt thumb?
Well, it is the robe.
That would be a second unit. You have Robert Downey Jr. Do you actually take the time to have him use his actual thing, or do you bring in his stunt double?
I'm going to tell you this. I really want this story to be that wasn't in the original cut. They did a test screening and everybody went, well, this is so stupid. The movie's dumb because why doesn't Ivan hear him have the conversation with Jarvis, right? And everyone just goes, we got to have a picture of him.
We got to have press the button. So
sure. Because that's what would explain this, but anyway.
That's true. So Tony reaches over to the screen, in which we now learn our touch screens. We actually didn't know this before,
right?
Because everything he does is sort of in the 3D, gesture space.
Hologram.
But we didn't actually, right? Yeah, we didn't actually know that he could physically touch the screen, but now we do. And so he says, "Trace him," and that's where obviously the call trace. And so then Jarvis says, "Sir," just basically saying, "You got it, boss." He just says, "Sir." So then the conversation continues. Ivan says, "Now, the true history of Stark name will be written." And then, Tony Sotavoko, he has already shut off his thing, so he's on mute, says, right. "Jarvis, where is he?" And we get to see the big anime graphic of zooming in from California, and he's following the signal all the way across.
It's all bogus.
So he says, "Accessing the Oracle grid." The Oracle grid. Hey, you guys remember way back when that Larry Ellison had that cameo? Yeah, this is the payoff of that. See, it's they're using the Oracle grid because they're product placement.
Which is kind of ridiculous because, in my little bit of research I did about the phone stuff, it's actually... It's called a line information database, the LIDB, and it's using SS7 signaling. There's actually terms for all that. It's not owned by Oracle.
Yeah. There's no reason you would need to go to the Oracle grid in order to do this. But hey, that's how Tony programmed Jarvis to be.
Sure.
We're paying a lot of money to Oracle, so we need to make sure that we're actually using their server.
Yeah.
At the time they're doing this, Oracle was making about $26 million a year. And now they're making about $40 million a year. So I think that's the Marvel bump, people.
Oh, my God. It's...
Right?
Yeah, that's something.
The power of product placement. So that we're seeing it's still zooming in. So we've gotten, he's going across the country. So he's not in California. So that's good. He's not sir, he's calling us from inside the house.
I know.
No, it's far away.
The same thing. I know.
So Ivan says, "What your father did to my father over 40 years, I will do to you in 40 minutes. I don't know why wrestling is just on in my brain today. Did I just say 40 minutes? But yeah, I like that's a so at 41, have you failed? That's really setting yourself a limit.
Well, he's also he's telegraphing his shot there, right? Because that's very specific.
Is this you think this is the Babe Ruth? This is pointing to the outfield?
Well, he is setting a trap. I mean, this is the whole point. Why would you call Tony and tell him this?
Oh, well, yeah.
Hello.
I guess it's true. He is a bit of a showboat, as we saw at the thing. He just wanted to make God bleed, and now I just want to make God sweat.
No, this is his plan. I know we've had a lot of fun with this over the course of this movie. Is what is Ivan's plan? Mm-hmm. This plan is actually much clearer than the plan at the Grand Prix.
This is bait Tony.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So Tony says, "Sounds good. Let's get together and hash it out." He says that now. I don't remember. I don't remember him going over and unmuting.
Oh no, yeah. You're just implied.
Yeah, but then next thing is Jarvis talking again. So then does Jarvis mute himself?
I would think that Jarvis understands, or Jarvis is smart enough to understand to do it himself.
Okay, and so we get to see, we're zooming in, we're zooming, enhance. So Jarvis says tri-state area, Manhattan, which once again is that where Phineas and Ferb live? Don't they live in the tri-state area? The tri-state area.
So is Al's toy barn, but I mean,
that's
come
true.
on. Is it
biggest toy store in the tri-state area?
Yes.
So then Manhattan outlying boroughs, and Ivan says, "I hope you're ready," and click, hangs
Done.
up. And so then that's as close as they got. Like, oh, the trace wasn't complete.
And the trace is incomplete. Yeah. Right. Okay. Sure.
But Tony now knows he's on the East Coast.
Right.
So yeah, Jarvis then sadly reports, "Cold trace incomplete." So then Tony say, but before we move on to how Tony reacts to this thing, at that cut away from the thing, that sadly is a picture wrap on Irena. Yay!
Oh.
No more bird. That was it. Elvis has left the building, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. No more bird. The bird is done.
I got to do for one final time.
Yes. In the arms of the angel.
Oh my God.
Because I say that because in the now this is it. Like we don't ever going to see the bird again. Like this
Right.
there is a scene that was shot, put into the mix, removed, and has never been seen of the final fate of Irena.
Oh.
Because there is a shot that immediately followed this one where, as he hangs up, he brings the bird down, kisses it on the face, and snaps its little neck.
Oh, what?
Yup.
Because it wasn't his real Boyd.
No, I don't think so. See, I thought, first of all, that's horrifying. And of course, Paramount/Disney would never be like, oh, no. But there's no easier way to make a villain than have them kill a defenseless animal. I think I would have kept it in.
Oh,
but
wow.
My thing is, remember, Ivan is not trying to conquer the world. Ivan is not trying to he's not Dr. Doom. He's not Kang.
Right.
He's not trying to, he's not the Skrull.
Right.
He's not trying to take over. He is on a mission to destroy Tony and then die. Like he has no plans beyond that.
So
my thing is
who's he gonna
what
leave
happened
the
to
bird
the bird?
to,
So he's not going to leave the bird to anybody else. Like basically, that would be him severing his last connection to humanity because he's on a collision course with destiny now. Like he does not think he's going to come out of this battle alive. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Probably right.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I guess for those of you who are watching this without having watched the movie, first of all, hi. Also, what?
we'll get there.
So she did not make it out. So like there actually is a thing of him twisting the neck, like they had a proper bird for him to.
But that would say a lot about the character in that in his mind,
if he'd have cried as he's doing
it. Or just in his mind, it's not just the evilness or the vengefulness or the focus. It's the bird is my bird.
Yeah,
and that's it. And so it's almost like in his mind, exactly. There's nobody I'm going to leave this to because it was my replacement bird. And maybe this is a sort of a thing, sort of a final flip of the hand to Justin Hammer. You thought you were going to suffice me with this bird, this replacement bird. Well, I'll show you. Yeah. Because once again, when the cleaning lady comes in, now there's a dead bird on the floor.
Right.
Two guys hanging from the ceiling. Hilarity ensues.
Yeah.
Not really, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the wrap for Irena. So hope she lived a long and happy cockatoo life. I don't even know if she's still alive. If Elvis.
We hope Irena is still alive.
In my headcanon, Irena flew off to Brazil and is hanging out with Ricky the dog. And the two of them have their own wacky jungle-related adventures in the favela. So like you take a little bit of Rio and some Oliver and Company, put some MCU magic in there, and I'm telling you, animated series right there. Okay. Boom.
That's a good one. My thought is that when he leaves and he left the bird in there and closed the door, the guys who were hanging, they bled out, and then she went and tracked herself all into the blood, and then went ahead and put the blood all over the room. And then the cleaning person came in, and a blood-covered bird comes flying at her, and she hits it with a mop, and that's the end of that.
Ugh, I like mine much better.
Yeah, yours
is so dark.
Well, Anyway, hey, one thing to quick notice is I did notice is in the conversation here, the blood pattern on his hand, I think, changes a little bit. I think there were some differences. There's a little continuity stuff.
From the long shot to the close up.
Yeah, a little bit. Just different takes, I'm sure. So anyway, there's that.
Yeah. So Tony's trying to figure out where the heck could Ivan be? Like, is he at Coney Island?
Yeah,
like, is he in Boston? I mean, like, there's all sorts of there's a lot of great stuff to see there. Maybe he's just hanging out in Albany. Who knows? But then he looks over at his other monitor and sees the Stark Expo and that Justin Hammer is doing a presentation tonight and goes, "Oh, right. That would be a good way to strike at the Stark legacy, is because that's the thing I have going on all year." So then the music kicks in, and he grabs the arc reactor off of the desk and says, "You want to run some tests? Run them, and assemble the suit while you're at it. Put it together now." And so you see Jarvis says, "We are still unclear as to the effects." So Tony slams into his chest and starts powering up. And he says, "I don't want to hear it, Jarvis." And then so we see the new arc reactor powering up and getting brighter and brighter and stuff too. And I actually did not notice this. There's a particular special effect going on here that is very subtle, but I didn't notice it until I listened to the commentary and Jon Favreau pointed it out. Because what Tony's looking for is a replacement element that won't kill him. Because, basically he's dying from the thing, and he's dying from poisoning because of the thing that's saving his life. But in fact, the Starkium that he created is not only not killing him, it heals him. If you look carefully as it starts to get brighter, you see the lines that are radiating out from the porthole, the reactor port, whatever you want to call it, the hole that the reactor sits in his chest, actually recede. So as it gets brighter, you see them actually. So it's actually healing him in addition to charging him up.
Yeah, it's a very subtle effect, but like that, what does Nick Fury call it? The digital crossword puzzle that's been coming out of him. Yeah, you see it as soon as he smashes it in there. It immediately starts to recede, and it's a nice effect. I mean,
it really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's healing. I mean, you can actually see it, and then you just, it's obscured, I think, a lot of times, because then it just glows almost to the point where it overtakes the screen, and that's where we cut off right at that moment.
Right, yeah, because that's when it's getting brighter and brighter and brighter. Tony is feeling the effects of it. In fact, he says, "That tastes like coconut and metal," and then it whites out pretty much the whole screen.
And we have a really nice lens flare there.
True.
Again, I love the effects here in that not only is that effect there and subtle, but you absolutely can see the detail. You even have this great little moment where they've gone in, and as he's got the open mount in his chest, as he's going to put the new arc reactor in, they've done some work there because you can see the glow and you can actually see inside the cavity in his chest. And it's pretty neat. Like it looks like he's got a grapefruit sized hole in his chest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just incredibly well done, because you could have thrown that shot away. You could have just made that just dark. Like you can't see anything.
Yeah.
Or from behind. That they went in. Yeah. From behind or whatever. Like you could have done it you could have done it from so many different ways where you didn't have to go in with CG. Oh, but they did. And it's a much better moment for it. I mean, because the detail is there and it's very cool.
So we won't find out what happens here on this new glowing chest thing. Is it going to kill Tony? You won't find out until minute 93. But in the meantime, I want to hear from you. I would like to know what your favorite bird-related movie memories are. It could be from this movie, or it could be from any movie. I do that. And the place you can do that is on Discord. We have our very own Discord server, and it's free to join. So if you go to thenextshow.com and scroll down to the Discord link, click it, jump into our community. We have our very own dedicated Marvel Movie Minute Iron Man 2 channel. And you can hop in there and put your own memories of your favorite bird. And you know what? No context.
Hold on, wait a minute. Bird, so live action or animated or either?
You know what? The sky's the limit.
Oh.
And they don't, you know what? Even for you fans of the original Clash of the Titans, they don't even have to be real birds.
Oh, wow. But hey, just FYI, no chicken.
And
we don't want anybody like, oh, they ate chicken. No, don't do that.
No, and no flipping the bird. We're talking about actual living birds. Please.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't pick the birds. Like that's cheap.
Yeah.
That's not good either.
BIRDS. Or BOIRDS, as we've been saying this whole time. Bye-bye, Bordy. All right, so be back here for minute 93. We're going to talk about Linda Ronstadt and the most important acronym in a woman's wardrobe. And you don't want to miss it. Enough said.
Bye.